Welcome back, students. We're going to continue work on our Hokusai projects and the 36 views of Mount Fuji, and we're going to do another one of those views today. So I'm so glad that you're back with me. So you're going to need a piece of paper, just normal piece of paper, and a Sharpie. If you want to draw it in pencil first, you can do that. I sometimes like to draw this project in pencil, and then I watercolor it, so that's an option if you have those at home, and if not, you can just go ahead and use crayon like I'm going to. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put that name very small down at the bottom of the paper. Artists always put their names down at the bottom right hand corner so that each artist knows that it's theirs. We are looking at this original right here. Again, it's a wood print, which means they kind of carved it out of the wood and then they dipped it in some ink and printed it that way. It's kind of a really fun and cool process. And you can see Mount Fuji's in the very back. But in front, we have this kind of hill with these people up here that are climbing. So we're going to start with that. So a little higher than my halfway mark, I'm going to kind of make a hill that comes like that. And always, if you need to stop this at any point, feel free to do so. So I've got my little mountain up on top, and you can see I've got this fun little stream that's happening down below here. So I'm just going to kind of come in here and give it a little, some curved lines there as if it was water that was flowing. And I'm going to think about Mount Ito in the back. So when we did our Great Wave, we talked a little bit about how the top of Mount Ito, and today I'm going to make it just a little bit jagged so it looks a little bit more like a volcano, and how it kind of curves out to both sides like that. And then I'm going to run a horizon line underneath here that's going to kind of continue on across my paper. Really dividing that sky with the water there. There are some kind of large mountains or trees probably that surround Mount Ito, and so we're going to kind of do an overlapping process right now. So I kind of take this line and make it into a shape, and then I come off the top here and I make that into another shape, and then another shape right there, and it will look like they are overlapping. This is kind of a loose, very casual, easy project to do, and that's one of the reasons I like it. So when we look at shapes, we see that we have Mount Ito and these three shapes here, and then we have, let's say it's water, but in our picture, it's almost yellow. So it starts up here. It's going to come here. If you want to add this little bit here, you would add it, jump here, and then you're going to kind of make kind of a line like that. So it jumps here, here, and then that, like that. So then that's going to be our water line. Okay, so then you have more water. You have this section right here, which is going to be water. So I'm going to draw another kind of curved line through there. And just two more lines. This line will come back over and off the paper, and a small shape right there. So really not too difficult on the draw when you think about it. Now, if you want to get really cool, you could like put a dark frame around here and frame it up. And when you don't want it something to need to be perfect, then you draw it curved. And you could either take it with Sharpie in our drawing portion and color that all in, or marker. You can be working with like Crayola markers. Those work as well. So where you're getting rid of those horizon lines that come off your paper and giving it a border. Isn't that kind of cool? So I would go all the way around, except I would probably kind of leave my name in the white process. So I'll show you how that. Okay. So this lesson is typically for my 3rd and 4th grade level. So you guys have been with me before. You know a little bit about the coloring process. And we talk about rhythm and color and how we have to use that color more than one time in our picture. So I'm going to start with 2 shades of green, a light and a dark shade. And I'm going to start with this mountain. So you can see on the original, there's like this little path that these people are traveling up to get to the top, this little path. So I'm going to start pretty much with a lighter green on this whole mountain. So if you want to join in on me, and I'm just using crayons because that's all I've got at home, and that's just fine. You know, just a reminder that art is about the process and not always about the product, and we're learning something new today. And we're going to come out with a pretty cool project. So if you have watercolors, you can, take advantage of that. Or even if you love marker and you want to do it in marker, you can do it in marker. So I've got my light green here, okay? Then I'm going to go and put my dark green over it. So I have the dark green coming down here from the top over my light green, which is kind of a cool effect. And then I'm going to put in the path. So I like to use the back of the crayon for this. So I come down, kind of pressing hard here, and make my pathway. Just like that. I'll even go off the paper. Remember, this is inspiration. It's not exact, so you can kind of change it as you go. So take a minute and work on that. Like I said, you might want to stop the video at any point. This area up here, this is also green. So I'm going to add my green in here. And when I want to be really exact, my students know I go around my shapes so that I have a really clean, wonderful line there. And then this shape right here is also green. And then I've got some green down in here. So this is really kind of depicting outdoor life in Japan at that time. Once I've got the light green, then I want to add a little bit of dark green. And if you want it to look more tree-like, then I tend to use things like circles and add it like that. This, if you want to put some lines in there, like that. You want to show some shadows, using some lines. Okay. So the same thing goes when using blues. Okay, so I've got Mount Ito up here. It's a volcano. And so I want to put some blue, but I don't want to put, because there is snow on it, I don't want to put all kinds, I don't want to cover the whole mountain. So I'm just kind of pushing up there to show that there's some snow on there, and there's also some blue shades underneath. And then I'm going to take and use that same blue under here. And this is background. So when you think of background, you don't think about a whole lot of detail. In fact, this is kind of a loose picture in a sense that it doesn't have a lot of detail also. Okay, so where are we now? Oh, that would be my dog. You gonna say hello to everybody? You already had your dinner. Go lay down. He's a puppy, so he doesn't always listen. I might even have to give him a snack to quiet him down. So this in here, this is also water. And remember, water flows across the page. So I want to add a darker blue and the lighter blue. And if you made this little area over here, you'll want to put color in there as well. And then we have kind of this bluish river that's running through. And you always want to draw or color something in the way that it flows. So it's flowing down this way. You wouldn't want to color it this way. You would want to color it the way that it's flowing. Okay. And you'll want to add, it's usually darker at the shore. So you want to come down and add some darker blue along the shore here. Or if you are going to be one of my outliners and you already outlined it, hopefully you outlined it in the darker blue. Okay, and you can go through and kind of just give a little scribble in there to show that the water is flowing this way. Okay, great job. Now, let's talk about that sky, because the sky in this picture is very different. Okay, and the water is different because the water is actually pink. So right along here in the shoreline, you have a pink water, and then it turns to yellow. Which is a very beautiful way to do it. And think about it, I think. The black crayon, I'm now going over this because it'll take too long with a Sharpie so that you can see it. There we go. Okay, so then we move on to sky. So the sky has some red in it. So I'm going to put just a little bit here and a little bit here. Now again, which way is it flowing? It's flowing across my paper. Okay. And then there's some red up here. Now, sometimes we have white crayons. So if you have a white crayon, you can kind of go over it, over the red, and it will kind of blend in there and make it really cool. If you want to get super creative, you could use a little pink in the sky if you wanted to. And even just a tiny bit of purple. But don't use a yellow or a blue because it will take away from the pink and the red right there that I think is really pretty. Okay, so a few other little details we need to think about. There's some trees down below, and I purposely did not draw these in Sharpie. And the reason being is because they're there and they're important, but I wanted it to be a little bit magical in a sense. So I've got 3 trees kind of here, and then maybe one there that's flowing up, which we could put, but we don't have to. Because this one I did actually, I think, in watercolor, so it's a little different. So I've got a tree here with some stems, And you'll notice that I chose blue. Well, I chose blue because I want it to be a little bit magical. Okay, so I'm just putting maybe what those branches would look like behind it. And then I'm taking a very pink color. It's almost, let's see, on this one it's called red violet. And I want us to think about the way that the tree flows. And I'm just doing circles. So remember, this should be an inspiration, not an exact copy of what we're doing. And I've got 3 beautiful trees there. If I have room, I don't want to try to put the pink over this too much. It won't show. So I could go down lower and put a tree down below. I wanted to press really hard and go over it a little bit like that. Super. So the very last detail is if I wanted to put some people. Now in this picture, there's 3 little people here, but you're not seeing their face and you're not seeing their hands and you're not seeing everything. So even though I often tell you, hey, don't do stick people, this is a perfect opportunity where you're just like putting little stick people basically in a silhouette as a person. So a silhouette is when you don't see all of their detail. You're just seeing the blackish image of them. So you've also got a few people walking here. So you will not want to make them very big, okay, because they're walking, and you want to think about the perspective, okay, of how large these people are. So I've got 2 people here, 1 there, and then I've also got this tiny little house over here. That's really kind of cute. Okay. If you want to put some extra trees in the black here, you can. These are kind of fun. And at the 3rd and 4th grade level, you should, just be having a little bit of fun with something like this. Oh, I missed 1 spot, didn't I? Okay, right here I have a little white spot that I need to go back and do. And that was another view of Mount Ito for today. I hope you enjoyed your lesson and hope you are enjoying your time at home. Thanks so much for joining me. And I will see you soon.